Right now on Upfront.
The Packers with the pick.
It has been a great week, not only for the Packers, but the greater Green Bay community.
Green Bay is selected to host the 2025 NFL Draft.
Mark called me on May 9th to say, we got it, but we have to wait for the ownership to vote. And my life flashed before my eyes for the next 2 years.
Hundreds of thousands of fans, tens of millions projected in economic impact, and now the ask from state taxpayers. Our guest this Sunday, Packers President and CEO Mark Murphy. Discover Green Bay President and CEO Brad Toll.
Then a true test, a busy holiday travel weekend with the airline industry in the spotlight.
I view this weekend as a real test of the system.
We're one-on-one with Department of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. His warning this weekend to the airlines and his trip to the Port of Green Bay.
And the Republican field growing for president. Governor Ron DeSantis is in and Marquette Law School is out with a new nationwide poll. Poll director Charles Franklin breaking it all down.
This is Upfront with Jaron Jordan and political director Matt Smith.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Two Wisconsin sports teams at the center of Wisconsin politics this holiday weekend.
The Brewers seeking several $100 million in state taxpayer dollars to help maintain and renovate American Family Field over the next 2 decades. We'll hear more from MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred in just a minute.
But first, the Packers securing the bid to host the 2025 NFL Draft, and with it, a request to state lawmakers.
The announcement made official this past week, the NFL selecting Green Bay and the Packers to host the 2025 NFL Draft.
The event expected to bring hundreds of thousands of people to town, with tens of millions more watching from home. Packers President and CEO Mark Murphy. Who have you heard from since Monday? What's the reaction been like?
Well, I'm hearing from all kinds of fans and friends and people that are going to come to the draft and they can't wait to see it. People are really excited. They know, the draft is a big deal, whether it's in Chicago or when it was in New York or Kansas City, but the impact that it's going to have in Green Bay is multiple that what you would have in other cities. It's going to mean so much to Green Bay, and I'm just so excited but also pleased for the organization and the community. We've been working at this since 2016, so to finally get the official word that we're going to be hosting it's pretty exciting.
Have you wrapped your head around yet the fact that some 250,000 plus people are expected here that week?
Yeah, no, thinking about it, and it's going to be a challenge, but we've got just under 2 years to prepare for it, and an awful lot of good people, both internally and then across the community and the state. Everybody's going to benefit from this.
You've estimated this will cost about $7.5 million to host. The Packers committing $1 million, another $4.5 million through fundraising. Is it going to be difficult to get that money, or are people already willing to step up and say, "Oh yeah, we're in"?
We've had really good response from people. I think they see what it means to the community, and we're very hopeful that the state will contribute too. So. Everybody's going to benefit. And it's a once in a generation opportunity, and it's a chance to showcase Green Bay, the entire state of Wisconsin, to people that probably never been to Green Bay, never would come to it, and they see the draft and they see all the different things that we have going on here. I think. It's going to open people's eyes up to what a great place this is.
How critical is that $2 million from the state? And have you had conversations yet with Republican lawmakers?
Initially, but no, it would obviously be very helpful, and we're hopeful that we'll be able to get that funding.
Do you anticipate any pushback in terms of taxpayer money being used to help pay for and bring the draft here to the city?
No, it's economic development. It's going to help. It's going to benefit the state. It's good for everybody.
Two Green Bay lawmakers, Republicans Representative David Steffen and Senator Rob Coles, quickly introduced a motion this week to allocate $2 million to the event. Steffen saying he expects it to go before the state budget committee in the coming days.
So this will be come right out of the state budget. We will earmark $2 million, likely out of the tourism budget, to ensure that we have the funds in Green Bay to be a world-class host. for the NFL draft in 2025.
What do you see as the biggest challenge in securing this funding?
Well, I have to tell you, I think this is going to be one of the easiest pieces of legislation I've worked on in 9 years.
With this specific funding, how urgent is this? What's at stake here if this funding weren't to come through?
Well, it's important to realize what the money's for. It's not the most exciting things. A lot of it's going to be for things like public safety, waste management, various parking requirements, staging.
Now, how does this pair with the ongoing conversations of spending taxpayer money on the Brewers, for instance?
Well, I can tell you with this particular idea, for every dollar that's being put in of state money, we're getting 45 back. With the Brewers, it's far less of a payback for the taxpayers. This is really a tourism, short-term event with a long-term benefit. And so, which is much different than spending money to retain a professional sports team. Much different discussion.
The Packers and local tourism officials say the event will generate $20 million in economic impact to Green Bay, $94 million statewide. To say because of that, they're projecting $94 million. Is that because you expect people to stay all across the state, the Valley, Milwaukee, Madison, the Lakeshore?
Absolutely. Yeah, and they'll be buying gas at gas stations and eating at little cafes along the way in our finer restaurants in our bigger cities. So we really are looking at it as a Wisconsin event.
Did the league express any concerns about that the fact that people may have to drive a sizable distance from where they have to stay?
Not really.
Yeah.
Some of the cities that they're in, the bigger cities, they may only have to go 10 miles, but it takes them 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah. So scooting down 41 toward into the Fox Valley is really not that far.
I heard there was some talk about potentially talking about the cruise ships that travel the Great Lakes to dock them. Is that a potential reality?
It's something we'll probably look at. Chartering a cruise ship is no inexpensive thing either. We've also kind of said, the Amtrak line, they may not be able to come at 200 miles an hour, but there are rail lines between here and in Milwaukee. Who knows? Maybe that's an option.
We're standing at a new development that Packers have developed. They're really developing all around the stadium. Do you think this would have been possible if not for the developments outside the stadium itself that the Packers have made?
Yeah, we started bidding before this was done. We started bidding on the draft before the new expo hall was there, and we lost those bids. So we knew that this certainly would play into it. And I know the Packers are really excited about showing fans and other NFL teams what they've done here.
Brad Toll earlier today told me this is Green Bay's Super Bowl, right? In terms of hosting an event.
Yeah, and we would love to host a Super Bowl, but I don't see that in our future. And this will be the biggest event that's ever been held in Green Bay.
Now to the Brewers. Republicans rejecting the governor's proposal to use $290 million from the state surplus to essentially write a one-time check to the stadium district to help meet the maintenance obligations for the next 20 years.
Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred in Milwaukee this past week during a routine visit, yet well aware of the high stakes in Madison. Commissioner, let me start with long-term funding and maintenance. I'm sure those were part of your conversations, and the potential state funding. Is part of your message here that if state funding doesn't come through, the league could move the team out of Milwaukee?
Look, I think that it's important to keep the issue of funding in some perspective. This is a gem of a ballpark. It's really important that the existing obligation under the lease be funded so that this great ballpark is maintained on a regular basis. It needs to be done in a timely way. But there's been a great relationship between ownership here and the governmental bodies, and I'm confident that the governmental bodies will come up with a plan to fund what's just an existing obligation under the lease.
And if they don't?
It's an obligation, and I just don't believe that's going to happen. I really believe that everyone understands that there's a funding obligation that needs to be met, that this ballpark is a community asset, and they're not going to let that great community asset fall into decay because the fans love this place.
What's the scenario that the league would consider leaving?
There is not a scenario that is in my mind at the current moment. I'm more focused on resolving this immediate issue in a timely way so that the ballpark is well maintained for the benefit of the fans, and moving on to a long-term extension to make sure that the Brewers stay in Milwaukee.
Have you talked to Republican lawmakers here in the state?
I have not talked to lawmakers.
Do you anticipate getting involved?
I will get involved in any way that the Brewers think would be productive.
Up next, a true test this holiday weekend.
All eyes on the airline industry this weekend. Our new interview with Department of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg next.